guys, this is Nikki, also known as Faces Trader, and you're watching the Awesome 10X Philippine Market Update. It's November 23, 2020. It's already a Monday. Let's begin. The Philippines actually is going up all the time, and we are seeing that the index is up 8 points, 7,178. A lot of movers, so I'll begin with your most top gainers first. Top gainers, you're seeing on the top volume side, you are seeing PHR trading at 3 peso 33 cents, 11% up. We mentioned that on 2.5, so it's already a breakout of 250 a couple of days ago. So this has been something like 333 divided by 2.5, something like 83 cents, quite an outperformance for PHR. Ascent continues to go higher, surprising even the skeptics. Ascent today is up 10%. Do note that we are seeing that Ascent is in the euphoria zone. We have outlined the potential levels for Ascent to hit higher. However, we also noted the potential higher lows should it not go low, should it not go down. So that said, those people chasing Ascent should be careful. However, those who are in a position in Ascent should just hold on and trail their names as it goes higher, whether it hits 7, 8, 10, or so forth. Take note as well, Security Bank is up 10%. Today, trading at 122 pesos. We are seeing that a lot of banks have been rising and a lot of laggards have been rising. Take note that your San Miguel Corporation is now trading at 135. Do note that just last week, we saw San Miguel trading at about 110, 114, wherein we actually opined with all of you guys about the Bulacan Airport and that it was a laggard move that can go higher. MacroAsia continues to go higher, just the same as your reopening picks. MacroAsia from 762 to 840, up another 10%. Do know that MacroAsia has rallied as low as $3, 280, I think, in the last, during March, June area. And right now, it's actually trading at 840. There will be some resistance on the way up. We do know that at 7 to 10 is kind of the resistance area. 7 to 840 is up 20%. People have been picking up a lot of these reopening themes. However, we have to chart for you the companies that are in the euphoria zones as well. Mrs. G rose today from 160 to 175. Where would the resistances of Mrs. G be? We'll take a look at that. Are there losers? Okay. There's actually very few losers. Ayala Land down 3%. Had a hard time at 40. So some of your leadership in Ayala Land and SM Prime are having a hard time at 40. You're seeing Ayala Land 38.7. Same for your SM Prime 38.7. Some people are profit taking already on those names. And then of course, Ayala Corp, also some profit taking on that name. Take note, most active names, you are seeing banks, the laggards are becoming picked up by the market. BDOs now at 107, hit 109 a while ago. Your Metro Banks hit $50. So the last rally is actually just a sign for you that the market is really leaning on to the laggards. So everybody who's been investing in the market in the Philippines knows that your laggards have been your BDOs. And the fact that your laggards are number one in the traded on the upside tells you that this was a rotation move. So some people have been profit taking on some of their leaderships and they've been positioning into the laggards, even the banks. So your Metro Bank, your Mega World, and then your BP. Your BPI isn't a laggard, but it is continuing to climb up with the financial sector. Security Bank, a laggard, moved 10% today, 400 million pesos. Generally speaking, I'm seeing that the market has been rallying on your laggards, as we saw that in your Petrons, your Shell Philippines. So most of these laggards are, so this one is 3.9, Petron. Your Shell Philippines was also up 18.34. We are seeing laggards move. So that is a theme that is happening in the market so far. Take note as well. Let's take a look at some statistics. Let's analyze a few things in just about 2 weeks' time. So take a look at the percentage change on all the shares in just, let's see, week to date, okay? So week to date, your PHA is up 128%, your ascent is up 52%. Maybe we don't need to analyze the small caps. So these is too small. San Miguel Corp also rallied about 25%. Your Merrimart, 25%. Some laggards like Petron catching up 25% for the week. Your Cebu Pacific also 20% up. Your Vista Land, 20% up. Your PHR, which is Dennis Oy speculative casino pick, given that it's a backdoor for, no, sorry. It was a follow-on offering, right? So at 1.68, and the market wanted a company that is in the casino space that's reopening as well. So that was what PHR represented. MacroAsia up 20%, Mega Wide All HC up about 18%. Your Holcim was up 18%, and a lot of small movers. Which are your so you could see that your top movers have been mostly your reopening picks. And definitely year-to-date changes, you could see these things. Let's take a look at that. So year-to-date, the market has been buying really the battered ones. So Holcim, Shell, Philippines, and SEB are actually one of the worst movers for the year. They've been the battered ones, and so they are actually picking up just as a laggard play. Same as for SSI, a laggard play from a down 40%. MacroAsia is also a laggard play. So a lot of laggards like Maxes, DMW, Mega Wide, these laggards, your Robinson's Land, are actually becoming you could say that the market is shopping bin on those laggards. So I'm seeing that the market's fascination with laggards has to do more with the fact that they want to buy the market. But of course, given that the index is at 7,000, they should be thinking which companies they should buy. And seeing that front, you are seeing that the market in general has been picking up those financial sector with this those financials or those companies that haven't moved as high. So those were your San Miguel's. Let me take a look at your questions, if any, and then I'll head on to charts of interest. All HC po, Miss Nikki. I think that RSI is a useless in a bull market. Example, ascent and MacroAsia. We don't actually use I don't use as much RSI. I do use mostly resistance levels and supports. And given that ascent currently, what you need to know about ascent is that it is in an insanity zone. So I'm going to share to you those charts of interest. So as in, we mentioned that given that it has been breaking all-time highs, the only thing that you should understand is the slopes. All HC, we are seeing that the 3 bucks was a support, a higher low area, but 360, you've got some resistances as well. Take note that the market is, as it goes vertical, like ascent is. So I said this was the apathy zone. And we were opining ascent as early as about 220 to 230. You can check out our June, July episodes wherein we mentioned ascent as a good renewable energy play. That was the apathy zone where we were calling out ascent as a buy. This was your greed zone wherein we kept on discussing it as well. This SRO, we explained that it was going to be people selling half if and only if they didn't have money. However, as you could see, this is not greed zone. This is called euphoria zone. And usually, the only higher form of euphoria is insanity. Insanity could be 100% move, so maybe it can go 8 bucks, like from 4 to 8. However, those people who are buying it are risking themselves for another casino flip. It could be a higher move, but it can also go down. They are actually not investing. They're also not speculating. I'd say they are gambling. So, of course, the people who have an early point have their positions intact. And I'm not sure if people actually bought for. To be honest, I'd say people who were really early just bought here, 230 and 250. At the most, they probably bought more at about 330 to 340 during this breakout moves. So anyone who's buying this is actually susceptible to a lot of profit taking if it will profit take. However, since there's nothing to be said of a sure profit taking move, what you can only say is that as it goes higher, we are seeing a vertical move, can go 7, can go 8. Until it breaks, that's only when the market will sell. So as we know by now, ascent has a lot of buyers. So it is in the insanity zone. Those people who have ascent, hold on to your positions. However, you should be aware that it can rally from 6 to 8, but it can also fall from 6 to 5 as well. So you're open to two outcomes for your ascent. Your all HC, so it's really just rallying higher and higher after this breakout continuation. Take note that we mentioned that the real proper breakout was here at about 180 to 2. So it's here because it is a bigger consolidation rather than a continuation. So definitely, let's assume that you bought here at about 210. Where would you realistically sell? A lot of people would sell somewhere already at current markets of about 330 to 340 for Ayala Land Logistics. And people would actually, who aren't selling, are going to be trailing their stops here at about 280 to 3. So to be honest, all of these names, if you don't have a position in them, you're susceptible to volatility. You're susceptible to actually a drawdown. It is not required for you to buy them if you didn't buy them early on. Like Awesome 10X tells you to buy it when it is a risk reward in your favor, wherein the risk is small and the reward is big. However, if it's already just a 50-50 game, you shouldn't actually be chasing. Only the winners who have it should be the ones holding on to their positions. That should also be the same thing for your MacroAsias. So your MacroAsias and your Cebu Pacifics are the same thing. They are also reopening themes. The difference is that both MacroAsia and Cebu Pacific have these resistances, unlike your ascents, which have no specific resistance. Which is the first resistance of your MacroAsia? As you can see, there's a very strong resistance here at about 960 to 990. Can even have higher resistances at 1092. That said, where has been the higher low supports, a lot of people are willing to see that MacroAsia has been rallying. And these types of moves have been bought already by more, I'd say the winners have this already at about 550 to 6. And even if they added at 7, those are just buying more positions. They aren't really chasing. They are just adding up and averaging up. And whatever they average up, they're also selling. Meaning, example, if you bought somewhere here at about 450, or you bought somewhere earlier here at about $3. So chances are, if you didn't sell it at about 6 area, you bought it back at 7, seeing that there was a breakout here, you chased the 7, but there is a clear resistances here from about 7 to 10. So these are potential. As you could see, the slopes are already going euphoric. And so everyone who's chasing is actually susceptible to also a drawdown. You could see a drawdown, but at what's happening in the market is that people are so euphoric about the reopening that, of course, it cannot be said that it stops. Meaning, for all you know, tomorrow MacroAsia rises to 950 and rises to 980. But do note that there will be some resistances on the way, especially since this one has come from about 18 all the way to 3. There will be some trapped suppliers, trap resistances here, which will actually be supply-demand sellers also here. That would be said as well for your Cebu Pacific. But the beautiful thing about Cebu Pacific is that you've got these resistances at 55 and also this resistances at 66. However, you've got a strong base support here at about 44 to 39. Meaning not necessarily the people who've bought at 44 to 39 or even at 35 area are going to sell. So what you're seeing is that it could get some profit taking here at about 51 to 55. However, there will be more buyers the lower it is. Given that it's not like 100% move yet, there is the chance that people would still voyeur to laggards. That's what we've been seeing in laggards like SEB. That's what we've been seeing in laggards like San Miguel. Take note that when San Miguel, courtesy of the breakout here at about 110, even if we entered quite a bit late here already at 114, we still got about a 20% move because it was a laggard. Definitely, the market is buying some laggards, and we've mentioned that since last week, Petron Corp, which was a laggard, has been getting and receiving that the rotation funds. See that people who bought even the average up here at 337, not necessarily the base, is capturing that 20% move at about 4. Do note that because Petron and all of these companies have resistances, you will see some resistances on these names, even as it has benefited from that laggard theme. We actually are seeing that the market has been picking up laggards after Ayala Lands and SM Primes. We have seen that the market voyeured to some laggards like Vista Land. So Vista Land rallied 350, even rallied at 4, and now trading at 453. Even if can go higher at 5, do note that that 10% move is also susceptible to a 10% down. Not saying that it drops tomorrow, just saying that people chasing are in a 50-50 risk-reward game, meaning you're just 1:1. It's not like favorable to the bulls, but it's neither favorable to the bears. So it's actually just a flip of a coin. Good morning, Miss Awesome. Robinson's Land and Vista Land, please. So I answered already. The Vista Land and Robinson's Land are actually beneficiaries of the laggard rotation. And so you saw the movement higher. Robinson's Land, we felt that about 1550 was a laggard that had to be picked up. Now it's trading at 1780, which confirms that laggard rotation move. Test buy on Nikki's Reco last Friday on DMC. DMC is actually a laggard as well. As you could see, there has been laggard rotation. You've seen what happened in your GT Capital. You've seen what happened on your AGI because the leadership were your SM and AC. So as you could see, after this breakout move about 430 to 440, we have opined actually that it was not late to buy here. And yet, why is it that it is hesitating here at about 550 and 560? The hesitation for these names is that it could have so many resistances on the way up. So if you bought today at 547, do note that there could be another drop at about 520 or 515. But also, I do note that the upside could be as high as 650 or 7. So these are laggards that can still, on any dips, they can still be taken advantage on. But definitely, the market is very much seeing laggards perform, diba? You could see that GT Cap, which has been a laggard in the last couple of 6 months from June to October, has benefited on that laggard theme, rallying from about 400 to 600. Take note, though, there are resistances. These people can sell to you at about 600 all the way to 700. So chasing is not recommended. People who have it can hold it. They're cheap costs. But people who don't have it should not be chasing. Let's see more questions. Wait up. So MPI, DMCI, and CNPF. Okay, MPI is not a reopening theme, so it's natural to see it stable. I don't see it outperforming. It will have some resistance at 4.5. DMC also some resistance at 560, all the way to 650, and 7. However, you've got a lot of supporters on DMCI, so it could be a trading range, expansion range on the way up. Century Tuna is not a reopening play. Century Tuna should actually do something similar to stable names. So I guess at 18, there will be a lot of sellers here. So I don't know if it will rally, but this is not a reopening theme. So yeah, let me see more questions. Been following you for a month. Is Robinson's Land still a good buy? I'd say that Robinson's Land can pick up higher. However, so this is a laggard name. As you well know, we have opined that even 1550 levels that it was a buying opportunity. That would be about a week ago. And true enough, it has rallied. It is quite a laggard. And so as you can see, the market has been picking up plenty of laggards. And given that Robinson's Land is a laggard, I do think that people who don't have it can still buy even at 17.7 with the option to actually just buy a few, because if it goes down, at least you have more ammunition to buy lower, near about 16 or 17 below. So that said, where can it rally? You've got a lot of resistances. You've got these resistances at 20. That would be your first resistance, another resistance all the way to 24. Nonetheless, if you are picking up some Robinson's Land for your laggard rotation play, I wouldn't mind the buying move even at 17.7, assuming that you don't have any position here. Wait lang. Yeah. So let me just take a look at some more. Did Mega Wide take profits today? Philinvest, holders sell. Philinvest has been something that we were opining as a company that gives you that stable dividends and that growth. However, for Philinvest, I'd say that it's quite, in general, what you're seeing in the market is just rotation to the laggards. So Philinvest, Vista Land, Robinson's Land, these are considered laggards in the property space. I don't think that it's still a sell given that you don't have any sell signals in the market. However, so mostly it's a hold. I'd say it's mostly a hold. It's not a buy. It's not a sell. Just hold your positions if you have any. Wait it out and see whether there will be euphoria further coming into these laggards. So I think that today we can say that laggards are in a continuation move. That's all we can say. They can continue going higher. They can even go flags, but all the pauses and flags will still be accumulated by people who don't have it. Is there a future for Pure Gold, CNPF, Merrimart in the reopening? Demand is slowly going down. If I had a choice, I think that the best reopening names would be your laggards, not your supermarkets. So Pure Gold and Century Tuna are not your, they aren't the top picks. It's not. So you know already the reasons why. Okay, Shell Philippines, DMC, Visaland already answered that. Agree with Ascent. Okay, PHA has been rallying, but this squid pay thing, I think that at 80 cents, some people still take profit. If you don't have it, then you don't purchase it. The people who do have it, you are just in a position to see whether there will be some people buying further at 80 cents all the way to 90 cents. So you're already in a good position, especially if your cost is about 30 cents below. So I mean, there's nothing wrong if you want to hold your winner or if you want to sell half or sell 1/3. Nonetheless, for people who are chasing, I would advise no to them. Your thoughts on SSI? Looks like it's in a consolidation stage. Yes, yeah, it's just consolidating. So I do think that all the consolidations are similar, and you are seeing that the market is just picking up laggards. So example of laggards, yes, Robinson's Land is one of them. We are seeing that Mrs. G is also a laggard that has been picking up. So actually what you're simply seeing is that the market is just choosing to buy a lot of laggards, right? So these are laggards. Your Mrs. G broke that 150, consolidated today, had a rally to 170. Do note that there will be these resistances, the 198 and 180. So there are these resistances, and that's the thing about laggards. Laggards don't just, it's not easy to predict if laggards can go higher because laggards have a resistance. So you naturally are seeing that people are getting a lot of laggards, but the people who are getting those laggards also have ammunition on the way down. Good PM of PHR. Is it still a buy at this price? I'm not sure. I have it, so bought it at about 250 actually. Not willing to buy 333, more of a hold. Mrs. G 180 and 2 are resistances. Double Dragon is a laggard, so we mentioned Double Dragon as a potential good risk reward. We said that Double Dragon and DMW are beneficiaries of laggard rotation. So the answer to a Double Dragon is actually a yes. Double Dragon is still a buying opportunity. It seems at 15. Mega wide, is it too high to enter? Do not chase. I find $10 a bit high to enter mega wide. So it can go higher. But in general, I'd say that the market at 7.2, I am not willing to buy. So I'm just mostly hold. Yeah, so I'm not really buying anything at the market at the moment. So actually you could see that market value is 11.6. Foreign net selling is negative 350 million. Although a lot of companies are rallying, I do think that we would advise people to just hold positions, but not initiate new positions at the moment. So will MAC go higher? It can go higher, but I think buying today is more like a 50-50. Sorry I'm late. How Security Bank? Security Bank was also just a beneficiary of all the laggard movement in the banking space. So we have opined that the BDOs were very laggards. Your security banks were the laggards. However, these laggards have already risen, and therefore it can go higher. I'm not gonna stop the momentum. Of course, this can go higher to 140. However, chasing is not something that we would advise. So those people who are in a position should just hold. That is the advice. But those who don't have any, probably give yourself time and pick up the market if there's any better risk reward ratios. If there's none, then I'm sorry. You missed your chances. You missed it out. And I think that you should miss out when you don't have a risk reward in your favor. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye. That's it. Thank you. Okay na.